दे करुणा होई बे संसार बात मोरा अबे तुझ बे अरसा विषया छड़िया कबे शुद्ध अभिमान कबे हम राबो श्री वृंदावन विषया छड़िया कबे शुद्ध अभिमान ईशया छड़िया कबे शुद्ध अभिमान कबे हम राबो श्री वृंदावन शुद्धाभिमान कबे हम राबो रूप रघुनाथ पदे कोई बेअकुते कबे हम बुझाबो से गला प्रीति रूप रघुनाथ पदे कोई बेअकुते कबे हम बुझाबो से जुगल प्रीति होए बेअकुते कबे हम बुझाबो से जुगल प्रीति रूप रघुनाथ पदे रहु मोर आशा प्रार्थना करो ए सदा नरोत्तम दास रूप रूप रघुनाथ पदे रहु मोर आशा प्रार्थना करो ए सदा नरोत्तम दास रूप रघुनाथ पदे रहु मोर आशा प्रार्थना करो ए सदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Śrīla Prabhupāda. Hare Krishna. Very beautiful song. Just quickly go through the meaning and then we'll continue with our class. When will that opportune moment come to us when there will be shivering of the body as soon as we chant Lord Gauranga's name? While chanting Hare Krishna, when will there be tears in the eyes? When will I obtain the mercy of Lord Nityananda Chandra? When by his mercy will the desire for material enjoyment become very insignificant? When the mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desires, then I shall be able to understand Vrindavan and the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. Then my spiritual life will be successful. When shall I be very much eager to study the books left by the six Goswamis and their followers, headed by Śrīla Rupa Goswami and Śrīla Raghunath Das Goswami? By their instruction, I shall be able to properly understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. My only aspiration is to attain the lotus feet of six Goswamis headed by Śrīla Rupa Goswami and Śrīla Raghunath Das Goswami. Narottam Das Thakur constantly prays to obtain their lotus feet. Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna. So today we will be having repetition of previously discussed sloka, that is from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Already, I think this sloka is discussed, but again, on the order of His Grace Vajrayana Prabhu, we'll be discussing this sloka. 1511. तद्वाग विसर्गो जनताघ विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकम् अबध्यवत्यपि नामानि अनन्तस्य सोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघ विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकम् अबध्यवत्यपि नामानि अनन्तस्य सोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघ विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकम् अबध्यवत्यपि नामानि अनन्तस्य सोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः विसर्गो जनता यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबाध्यवत्यपि नामानि अनन्तस्य सोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघ विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबाध्यवत्यपि नामानि अनन्तस्य सोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघ विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबाध्यवत्यपि नामानि अनन्तस्य सोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः tat that vak vocabulary visargaha creation janata the people in general agha since viplavaha revolutionary yasmin in which pratishlokam each and every stanza abadhyavatapi irregularly composed api in spite of namani transcendental names etc anantasya of the unlimited lord yashaha glories ankitani depicted yat what shanavanti do hear gayanti do sing grananti do accept. Sadhavaha, the purified men who are honest. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this material, in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Purport. It is a qualification of great thinkers to pick up the best even from the worst. It is said that the intelligent man should pick up nectar from a stalk of poison, should accept gold even from a filthy place, should accept a good and qualified even from an obscure family, and should accept a good lesson even from a man or from a teacher who comes from untouchables. These are some of the ethical instructions for everyone in place without exception. But a saint is far above the level of an ordinary man. He is always absorbed in glorifying the Supreme Lord because by broadcasting the holy name and fame of the Supreme Lord, the polluted atmosphere of the world will change. And as a result of propagating the transcendental literatures like Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, people will become sane in their transactions. While preparing this commentation on this particular stanza of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, we have a crisis before us. Our neighboring friend China has attacked the border of India with a materialistic spirit. We have practically no business in the political field. Yet we see that previously there were both India and China, and both lived peacefully for centuries without ill feeling. The reason is that they lived those days in an atmosphere of God consciousness. And every country over the surface of the world was God fearing, pure hearted, and simple. And there was no question of political diplomacy. There is no cause of quarrel between the two countries, China and India, over land, which is not very suitable for habitation. And certainly there is no cause for fighting on this issue. But due to the age of quarrel, Kali, which we have discussed, there is always a chance of quarrel on slight provocation. This is due not to the issue in the question, but to the polluted atmosphere of this world. Systematically, there is a propaganda by a section of people to stop glorification of the name and fame of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, there is a great need for disseminating the message of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world. It is the duty of every responsible Indian to broadcast the transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the world, to do all the supermost good as well as to bring about the desired peace in the world. Because India has failed in her duty by neglecting this responsible work, there is so much quarrel and trouble all over the world. We are confident that if the transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam is received only by the leading men of the world, certainly there will be a change of heart and naturally the people in general will follow them. The mass of people in general are tools in the hands of modern politicians and the leaders of the people. If there is a change of heart of the leaders only, certainly there will be a radical change in the atmosphere of the world. We know that our honest attempt to present this great literature, conveying transcendental message for reviving God consciousness of the people in general, and re-spiritualizing the world atmosphere is fraught with many difficulties. Our presenting this matter in inadequate language, especially a foreign language, will certainly fail and there will be so many literary discrepancies, despite our honest attempt to present it in proper way. But we are sure that all our faults in this connection, the seriousness of the subject matter will be taken into consideration and the leaders of the society still accept this due to its being an honest attempt to glorify the Almighty God. When there is fire in the house, the inmates of the house go out to get help from the neighbors, who may be foreigners, yet without knowing their language, the victims of the fire express themselves and the neighbors understand the need, even though not expressed in the same language. The same spirit of cooperation is needed to broadcast this transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the polluted atmosphere of the world. After all, it is technical science of spiritual values. And thus, we are concerned with the techniques and not with the language. If the techniques of this great literature are understood by the people of the world, there will be success. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utah Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhanvitam Sa Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavade Paschat Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurituse Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा welcome you all for today morning Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam discussion. So today our topic of discussion is book distribution. So you all know that November 15th onwards, that is day after tomorrow or tomorrow onwards only, the book distribution, Śrīla Prabhupāda book distribution marathon is going to begin. So marathon means what? It is not just race. It is marathon for long term, long distance actually. The running has to be done. So that is why this is called book distribution marathon. So previously it was for 1 month, December month, every time it used to be there. But now, GBC members and BBT members, they have increased the duration to 2 months, November 15 to January 15, so that devotees get more and more scores by distributing Prabhupada books. So today we'll be discussing actually about the importance of literatures in general. Then we'll discuss about the importance of distributing the Prabhupada books. And before that, sometime we'll focus on glories of Śrīla Prabhupāda also, and then some stories about the book distribution and how it has brought revolution in the life of impious people or the misdirected civilization. So initially, how many of you have heard about Fidel Castro? Fidel Castro. Okay, only one devotee has heard about Fidel Castro. So Fidel Castro is the father of communism. He was a person in Cuba. This country, Cuba, is there. He was a very famous personality there, and there was one very Atyachari king, very deadly king was there who was ruling over that kingdom. But he was not following any Vedic literatures or anything for that matter. But he was very self-centric, egoistic king actually. So this particular person was Fidel Castro was having civil disobedience movement and things like that against him. But then the government actually put him behind bars. So he was in the jail, and only one personality was allowed to meet him. Who was he? She was the wife of this particular Fidel Castro. She was only allowed to meet, and nobody else was allowed. So every week she would come, and she would come with some diary, and before entry actually they would make sure that she should not copy anything and things like that, or she should not take any message from the this Fidel Castro and go out and things like that. But this particular lady actually, she would give that particular diary to Fidel Castro. So in full week he would write the diary, and the next week again actually she would come and she will take back the diary. And at the entry point, they would check, and there was nothing that would be written actually. The empty diary only she would take, and she would take one sign only, things like. So they were thinking that nothing much is happening. Husband and wife, they are just talking and they are just going and things like. But within 6 months, actually, there was a revolution in the entire country, and the king was overthrown. Actually, the military was also overthrown. You know what happened? Actually, this Fidel Castro would write with one special ink, and that would not be seen generally just like that with naked eyes. So she would go at house and she will, spear and smear, lemon juice on the ink on the paper, and then the fonts would be visible, and that's how she made books out of it, and she started printing those books and sending it, distributing it in mass in people in general, actually like that, and that's how actually the communism began in 1949 and 1951. And now you see so many countries, and that's how we began actually this communism in one party system. Only one party will be there which will be ruling actually the country. So in Cuba it began, then China, and in India also now communist parties are there actually. In fact, some of the states are ruled by these communists, Kerala, and then um, Bengal. These parties are actually communist parties actually, like that. So this all began actually with one thing. What is that? Literatures. He wrote and it was distributed. And in the history also we have seen that how just by literatures, distribution of literatures actually, know, there are religions which are spreading like anything just because of the distribution of their literatures. Like Bible is the most sold book. Why? Because freely they distribute left and right. And Christianity, the religion which is popularizing the most of the world actually because of their free distribution of literatures. In fact, there are places in India itself, like Nagaland and these places where you go. Most of the states, most of the population is Christian population. You may say, "अरे बाप रे, प्रभु जी, हम तो हिंदू हैं सब, so-called Sanatanis, but how come Christians came here?" Because they are distributing literatures left and right, actually. Right. So Śrīla Prabhupada also was very much particular about distribution of his books. Just by distributing books, actually, real revolution can happen. And this, this we have seen also. Like in Russia, actually, when the book distribution started taking place, that time they had put iron curtain. Iron curtain means three things are not allowed. What is that? ISKCON, that is Hare Krishna movement. Then Western music and Western dresses and culture. These three things are not allowed actually, like that. So there was the iron curtain. Anybody found practicing any one of those three things, they would be actually sent to Siberia. No, the Siberia was their concentrated camp. Concentration camp would take place there, where they will take all these people. They'll take out their blood. They'll take out all their bodily organs and things like that, and they'll kill them in a very heinous way actually, and things like that. So they would send actually people to Siberia and things like that. So devotees also actually started doing book distribution in Russia and all, but it was a total ban. And devotees taking risk of their lives when they would go out for distributing books. They are not sure whether they will return back in the house in the night or not. Just imagine. But still they would take risk for distributing books. In fact, Prithu Prabhu, Prithu Prabhu is one of Śrīla Prabhupada disciples who was distributing during those days books with His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and other devotees who are like very much known for book distribution and things like that. So he was telling this particular pastime that one time actually they loaded the entire wagon with the books, and they were coming across the Russian border, but somehow or other, so they were praying to the Lord that Lord, please give us some idea so that we can take the books inside. And when just before the border, actually they stopped some time and they cooked prasad and they had nice kirtan class, everything like that. And then suddenly one dog came there actually, and then the dog was there, and the dog came. Then Prithu Prabhu gave an chapati to the dog, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj also said feed him very nicely. So then he fed that dog very nicely. Then he ate that chapati. Then the dog again came back. Again he gave one more chapati. Again the dog came after eating. Like, "Kitna khayega? How much he will eat? He is eating more than us also," and things like that. So then they thought something is there again. The Lord is teaching some lesson. Something is there in this. So then both of them and other devotees actually, what they did, they took the dog also with them while going. And at the entry point only in the big wagon, the car is there. The front actually the driver is sitting next. There are devotees who are sitting and the dog is also sitting. And as soon as the entry point came, the checkpoint came. The Guard says, in our country we don't allow, the smuggling of dogs, and we don't allow the entry of pet animals and things like that. And then immediately Prithu and others, they got down and they said, he's our favorite dog. My wife has gifted me, and he's just next to me, and my wife will divorce me only if I give up the dog and things like that. All this conversation, heated debate was going on about whether the dog should be allowed or not. And then they said, nothing doing. It is our rule. No, forget about getting inside. With your wagon or with your car, we will not allow if you carry the dog inside and things like that. Then they said, no, call your senior officials and officers and this, that, and all. Long time discussion over. So entire discussion now was concentrated on what? Whether the dog should be allowed or not inside. So then, uh, they did not check the vehicle inside what is there. Of course, the front back side actually they have put some tomatoes, carrots, and those things, but inside actually full books were loaded actually. They were doing smuggling of books actually. Like. So then the senior officials they came and they said nothing doing. See, sir, you want to enter? You are a decent man. You looks to be very spiritual and things like that. But we won't allow you with your pet animals and things like that. You appear to be also well behaved. If you want to give up, just forget the dog and just enter. If you don't want to enter, then forget about just get lost from here. And if you insist too much, we'll put you behind bars and things like that. So then, Prithu started crying literally. My favorite dog. Oh, I will live without this dog and things like that in front of them. And then he said, okay, you just keep it, next to the border only. When I'm going back, that time I will carry my dog back and things like that. Now I have got some business to do. And I said, okay, no problem, you go. And then they took the dog this side and, the vehicle, filled with all books actually entered inside. And in Russia, how they would actually distribute books. There is a book that is written Salted Bread. Those of you want to know about what it means to be really, a missionary devotee, a devotee who is preaching, what kind of risk, the Russian devotees they have taken. In fact, initial days, actually, the printing press would be underground. Many of the books they would personally, just dictate and write, you know, and just as sometime you might have seen, there are copy notes. Like when you are studying in college, so one student he makes notes, right? And after making those notes, many of the students who don't go to college or don't miss out classes, actually what they do, they take the copy and they xerox it. And after xeroxing, they'll punch it and keep it like this. So this is how actually they were making xerox and they're punching and keeping it because people were hungry actually for the spiritual knowledge and they would go out and sometime they would go out and 10 devotees are going out for book distribution in the night returning, the ratio would be around 6 or 7 only. 4 devotees are caught and put behind bars, and some of them are taken to concentration camps and things like that. So much torture, so much of difficulty devotees faced, and eventually in 1992 actually the Russian iron curtain breaks and ISKCON becomes official religion there. Now currently, Hare Krishna is the fastest growing religion in Russia just because of the distribution of the literature section. So Prabhupada, so many quotations are there. So now the current time that is going on for devotees is warfare. And in warfare, we need Gola Barud, right? We need all the weaponaries. So the weapons for the devotees or for the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the weapons are what? Three big weapons are there. What are the three big weapons? Who will tell? Prasadam, Sankirtan, and books. Haribo. So this, one devotee was saying that actually book distribution and Harinam Sankirtan, specifically Harinam Sankirtan is like going and putting the underground bombs. Like suppose the opposition is going to attack on this particular country, then what they do, they spread landmines. So when the their tank and things are coming up, they'll be destroyed actually like that. So this Harinam Sankirtan, specifically Sankirtan, is like spreading the landmines, preparing for the warfare actually. Then prasadam, distribution is like bullets. Now that's why Prabhupada said for gulab jamun is like ISKCON bullets. So prasadam distribution is like bullets. It goes and directly touches the heart. People get touched. Kya prasad tha and things like that. There are so many glories of prasadam distribution also. So prasadam, that is second, that is bullets. And this books are like time bombs. Now, they go in each individual's houses and they bring out revolutions actually. So these time bombs, how they transform the life of a person when it will get blast, that we don't know. The time fixing of the time is actually by taken care by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Śrīla Prabhupāda. But what we have to do is we have to you know, plant the bombs, time bombs actually in the right places, in the right houses actually, and things like that. Then there will be proper strategy to win the battle. Otherwise, actually, we are going to lose the battle actually. So as Kali Yuga is passing, there is a glory of Kali Yuga that bad things are increasing. At the same time, people are turning towards Krishna consciousness also. So one devotee was asking actually, His Holiness Bhakti Madhurya Govind Swami Maharaj, that why Krishna has control for everything. Why did Krishna make Britishers rule over entire earth? So then there was a discussion of devotees within ISKCON, and there is a philosophical body within ISKCON. They came together and they decided that actually yes, it is the plan of the Lord only. Lord only planned that there will be Britishers who will be ruling over Indians and things like that. But why? So that actually the Britishers, they establish one common language all over the world. What is that? English. But now somebody may ask question. But what about same thing? Krishna would have done through spreading Sanskrit also, right? Sanskrit could become actually common language. Why not? Why only English? So another devotee was saying that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is what? Patita Pavana. And English is considered the language of Malechas, the language of fallen people actually. So Mahaprabhu is known as Patita Pavana. He delivers actually the fallen. And Śrīla Prabhupāda actually delivered English language by translating Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita and all other books into English language. Actually, Prabhupada delivered English language. Otherwise, there is no glory in English language. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavana, and his representatives are increasing Prabhupada's glory, actually, increasing Mahaprabhu's glory by delivering more and more fallen people also, and even including language also. So like that. So that is one reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna wanted English language to become one common language all over the world. Second reason is actually because the so-called Brahmanas in India actually became too much puffed up with the knowledge that they had and things like that. That is why nowadays, in case somebody is learned and somebody knows Sanskrit, somebody is a Brahman and things like that, people they seem like पुजारी है मंदिर में सेवा करता है ठीक है कुछ काम धाम नहीं है क्या इसको like that they say with him as if he's a very lowly person and things like that people see correct no and nobody will give their daughter actually to a pujari भगवान मंदिर में सेवा करता है ठीक है will give our daughter in marriage to him but they are very happy to give their daughter in marriage to a person who is working in a big company earning a big uh, fat salary and things like that so kalau sambhava Shudra. Everybody in Kali Yuga by default is Shudra. So Shudra will like another Shudra only actually. In fact, for that matter, I am not a great personality when I got my sisters married. I also was looking for that kind of things only because we are not on that level, practically speaking. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavana, is friend of Fallen, and he is delivering including the language also, English language also. So the Brahmana, they became very puffed up, proud and things like that. So in case Sanskrit would become common language, their pride would increase more. Their mada will increase more and more. So that is why English language was chosen by Krishna purposefully so that it becomes common language. And then Prabhupada writes Vedic, the books by which we can, spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Like that. And there are unlimited glories of, Prabhupada book distribution, how devotees, they get completely immersed in, distributing Prabhupada's books. In fact, Srila Prabhupada himself actually distributed books. Narottam Das Thakur writes a letter, to Jiva Goswami during those days when, the first book distribution actually began. And he writes a letter, that letter is also there, writes a letter saying that actually now, because the way Goswami's literatures are there with us, we have to distribute it, we have to copy it. Suppose one book you have to distribute, you have to copy it, and then you can give to somebody. So like that. So they would send reports. In 6 months, we have distributed, 10 songs books, 10, these books, 10, these books. So around 40 books are distributed in 6 months. So like that, reports he would send. Who? Narottam Das Thakur to Jiva Goswami, like that. But then, in that letter he writes that as of now we are not able to do it much. In the future, some devotee will come and he will develop a technique by which the devotee will distribute millions and trillions of books. And that devotee is who? Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada translated actually. In fact, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was such a glorious acharya. Just next to the altar, you know what was there? Printing press. There is altar, and next to the altar is what? Printing press, altar. And the Gaudiya Mathas, their this one symbol or their what is that called? Logo. Logo is printing press. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would print books, and he will keep in the brahmachari ashram, fill it. There is no space for the brahmacharis to sleep also. The devotees would come and say, Prabhupada, they would call Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as Prabhupada. Prabhupada, where to take rest? Oh, you want to take rest? Go out and distribute. Create space for yourself so that you can get proper rest and things like that. That's how revolutionary Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so happy with one devotee distributing one small magazine. During those days, they would print one magazine called Sajjan Toshani. And this Sajjan Toshani was one paper, one single, not even A4 also, half of A4, A5 size, print. This magazine would be there. And that would be written in Bengali, and the brahmachari, they would take it and they would distribute in Krishnanagar and Navdeep. Some devotee, some brahmachari had distributed one, Sajjan Toshani. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would embrace him actually. And that one Sajjan Toshani was one ana. One ana means what? 25 paisa. Like four Sajjan Toshanis put together would be one ana. So one ana, that much currency, if somebody is distributing and coming, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur personally would embrace that devotee and he would say, you have done such a glorious activity of distributing Lord Chaitanya's books actually. Just imagine, our Param Guru, he is so much loving the distribution of books actually, or distribution of literatures. So what we can do now, practically speaking, first we have to ourselves equip, with the weaponry, and then go out and implant it in other places also. So how to equip ourselves actually? First is actually we read ourselves at least 40 to 45 minutes. So in Pune and Chowpatty and then Delhi, Mayapur. These are the places where book distribution takes place in mass book distribution. Last year Pune they distributed almost 6 lakhs books. Delhi distributed 6.5. Mayapur like that. They talk in lakhs only, and ours is in thousands. But nothing is inglorious, everything is glorious. Even the attempt to distribute a book is also glorious. So devotees, they take resolution. Just as in Kartik month, devotees take resolution that every day I'll chant one round extra, or every day I'll do this one thing extra and things like that. So devotees in Pune and Delhi specifically, they take vows that this book distribution marathon I will distribute 1100 Bhagavad Gitas. And there are some devotees who have cultivated donors, and they are fixed. Every year, this particular donor will distribute, he will sponsor 1100 Bhagavad Gitas. For sure, there is no doubt about it. So that's how they distribute actually lakhs and lakhs of books. That's how in Delhi, how many temples are there? 18 plus, more than 18 temples are there actually in one particular city. Because Gopal Krishna Maharaj, has revolutionized actually book distribution in Delhi. And the devotees, they are determined actually for book distribution. And they go house to house. They do house to house campaigning. They just had the political parties for getting votes. What they do? House to house campaigning. They do rally. They do, all different kind of activities. Devotees also copy same thing only. They also do house to house campaigning. They do Harinam Sankirtan. They like rally, going and distributing books. Then similarly, they organize programs where, big personality comes, addresses, and people are, attending programs and things like that. Like that in Delhi and Mumbai, Pune, they organize programs where, they call, the elite class of people, and then they distribute books to them actually. Like, so one devotee, whom I met last year. So I was asking him, so every year during book distribution marathon from Delhi, he distributes minimum 21,000 books. One single devotee. And my head was, rotating. पूरा मंदिर मिला के 21,000 नहीं कर पा रहे, आप अकेले कैसे 21,000 करते हैं? I was asking him the secrets. So he was telling me that he has like this donors, fixed donors every year. So they will distribute 1100 Bhagavad Gita. They will sponsor, and his job is actually go and distribute those books actually in the schools. And I was saying that's all very easy technique. But how do you cultivate those donors and all? That is a long story. But apart from that, he himself one-to-one distributes 1100 Bhagavad Gitas. Minimum 1100 Bhagavad Gitas, one single person. I was just asking him out of curiosity that how you are distributing these things. So he says that I have taken a vow during book distribution marathon, these 2 months, I will not take breakfast until or unless I give one Bhagavad Gita to someone, or I distribute one Bhagavad Gita to someone. I said, my Lord, is it too much? And then he went on saying, next, I will not take my lunch before I distribute 21 Bhagavad Gitas. Or I will not, then third thing, I will not take my prasadam on that day if I don't distribute minimum 40 books in that day. So 40 books minimum, and he takes that vow. Krishna makes the plan, and he's a working person, by the way. He's not brahmachari or something like that. So I was just asking him, but how do you make this arrangement? He says, I desire, Krishna makes the plan. So he was telling me that one day, actually, he went out, for his office work early in the morning. Late night it happened, with some colleague meeting and things like that. Some, launch of the, software, something was there. So it went late night. He slept around 1 o'clock, got up morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock, chanted his rounds. And then 8:30, he went for office. He packed his breakfast. He did not take because his vow is there. Until or unless he distributes one Bhagavad Gita, he will not take breakfast. So he was going, and there was on the way there was accident, and full traffic jam was there, and he was looking little perplexed. At the breakfast bhi nahi milega. Already 9:30, 9:45 over, and this devotee's car was also touched actually in the accident by some other person. So the car was taken to the police station, and he was there in the police station, and in the car actually the books are also there. Now he is thinking what to do. So the police people are talking this, that, and all. They are talking about the fine, this, that, and everything. The inspector came and he's saying, "Sir, I have Bhagavad Gita. Will you take?" The inspector got surprised. Arey, everybody whoever has come here, whoever comes in the police station, they all talk about how to get rid of the fine or minimum, kuch le de ke settle kar do and things like that. And you are talking about what? Bhagavad Gita distribution. He said, "Kaun ho aap?" Then he said, "I am from ISKCON and I have taken a vow. I will not take my breakfast until or unless I take one Bhagavad Gita." So then this police person said him that, see, my police station comes on the way. And I understand that you are a very spiritual person and devotee of Krishna. And I also love Krishna. I also go every year, in fact, in Kartik month to Vrindavan. And every day, whenever you pass by, it will be my seva from you, from my side, that you give one Bhagavad Gita to one of my employees who is working in the police station here. So every day he would go, pass by, give one Bhagavad Gita, and that inspector would give him 300 rupees because 300 rupees was the price for Bhagavad Gita, and then he will pass by. And that's how Krishna made arrangement for 1 month, for entire 1 month for his breakfast. And that's how he got confidence. First time he did like this, then he got confidence. Since last almost 6 or 7 years he is doing this, and every year his score is increasing only. Just imagine. So if we have, see, that is why there is a saying, there is a will, there is a way. When there is a strong will, there is a strong way. There is a weak will, there is weak way. But if we strongly desire to distribute Śrīla Prabhupada books, Prabhupada's mercy is going to be there. There is no doubt about it. Prabhupada is going to help us. And there are people who are just waiting actually for books. Like the other day, book distribution we started, in our brahmachari ashram, we had meeting and we discussed together that we'll do book distribution and things like that. But I was involved in all this, construction, this, that, and all. So I had to go to, this for dropping some letters for registration of some society and things like that. So I went to the what is it called? Not municipal party. This parcel office. What is that called? Post office. I went. The post office I went and I was thinking. The morning time I was just thinking that today I will not be able to go for book distribution. This, that, that. But when I went there and the lady I met and she said, "See, your box is not fully covered. You have to cover it fully. No advertisement, nothing." And all. I said, I don't have now the wrapping paper and things like that. She said, "Nothing doing. 2:30 it gets closed. Already 2:10 was there." I was thinking what to do. So Prabhu was with me. So I told him that please go and get a tape. That brown color tape comes. So please get it. So he went for getting. Meanwhile, one auto person came. He was also having the box and he had that tape. So I just took his tape and wrapped it around. Another person came for dropping some letter and he saw me and he saw dhoti kurta tilak and all. He said, "Hey, ISKCON." I said, "Yes." "Hey, Bhagavad Gita hai kya?" "Bhagavad Gita to nahi hai." मिलेगा क्या मेरे को? I said yes, please give me your address. Then he sent me, he gave me his mobile number, address. I came back and I sent, by Danjo one Bhagavad Gita to him. So that's how, we just have to desire actually. Krishna will send people to us. And even the attempt to do book distribution is also glorious. Krishna will, recognizes it. Prabhupada recognizes it. Is it? Haribol. So that is, next 5 minutes discussion. I took vow to distribute 50 Bhagavad Gita. Suman Mataji ki jai. Haribol. So now, yoga devotees have been given targets by His Grace Krishna Prabhu. So much glories are there. Actually, when we do book distribution, like I remember last, 5-6 years I've been involved in, school book distribution. Myself and Sanjeev Krishna Prabhu, when I was there in Shisha, we would be like partners for going out for book distribution. So on the way, we'll go in the vehicle and we'll keep discussing so many philosophical things and about the glories of book distribution, things like that. And so much Krishna conscious, stuffs are there in the mind that automatically your day becomes Krishna conscious when we go out for book distribution. So this war is very easily won when we fight against the war. So the best way to, protect ourselves in the war is what? To attack. Correct, no? That is the best way. So we want to become Krishna conscious, then we have to participate in the war against Maya Devi. And that is why book distribution at least for next 2 months. So yoga devotees, specifically Navdeep Yoga, we have many devotees here. The maximum devotees in the IYF in Bangalore are there in Sarjapur. And they have been given targets by Vajikshna Prabhu. So our target is very small. 700 is our target. 700 Mahabig books. For yoga devotees, for congregation, the target is 2000, by the way. So yoga devotee, the target is 700. And don't think that it is tough. You just have to desire it. It will be done. Like, Abhay Govindpur is sitting here just next to us. Last to last year, he had taken target that he will also do book distribution. And, he took a vow that he will do 11, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam sets. And his father helped him. Previously, he is elder, another devotee. Arjunan Prabhu joined Brahmachari Ashram and he's in US. So he called me, father, one day he called me and he said, Dinesh Prabhu, I'm going to shoot you. I'm with gun. So I was very much scared, but he's very, loving, caring and fatherly person. And at the same time, very jovial also. So I was very much fearful. And I may say my father will distribute. And father is calling his friends. He's calling his friends and telling, hey, Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is there, please take it. And he is ordering in all different languages. Tamil is there, Telugu is there, Malayalam is there. Malayalam is the set that he distributed. First set that actually, only set was there in our temple and that got distributed actually. I was surprised. And Rakhal was very happy that since many years actually this Malayalam set was lying here and nobody was taking it. And that's how actually devotees they desire and Krishna makes arrangement. And his father distributed 11 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam sets. Can you imagine? Who was completely against Krishna consciousness and he was saying that he will come and do this, that and everything and all that. But now he himself is also chanting, 8 rounds every day of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and distributing books. And few days before he had come here, and then I was saying that, you did this glorious activity of distributing, Prabhupada, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam said, Krishna did it. We are just instruments, no problem, like that. And he was so happy. And devotees feel so happy. Even the new people, they feel very happy actually distributing books. So they get so much mercy of Śrīla Prabhupada, they get mercy of devotees, they get mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan. So we all also will get mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Śrīla Prabhupada by distributing Śrīla Prabhupada books and by reading Śrīla Prabhupada books. So how many of you are eager to distribute Śrīla Prabhupada books? Haribo! So now we'll not wait for some more time. You all take your mobile and write your own individual scores. How many books you would like to distribute? And it is not at all tough. See, in case sometime you are falling short in your target, just call your friends. Just send a random message. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is awaiting you and you will just take it. Last to last year, I remember, I just sent message to all my friends randomly like this. 7 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam sets went out to different places. Devotees, they said, I want for myself, I want for my sister, I want for this, I want for that and things like that. 7 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam set just by one message. And one Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam set is equivalent to 36 Bhagavad Gitas. The 2 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam sets you do, almost 70 books are done. So each one of you, this is your personal service to Śrīla Prabhupada, direct service to Śrīla Prabhupada. And Prabhupada will recognize it when we will be there at the time of death. Prabhupada will say, this Prabhu has distributed my books. So it is my duty to take him back home back to God. Provided we read and apply also those things. At the same time, we try helping Śrīla Prabhupada in distributing his books. So take your mobiles and write me your individual scores. How many books you would like to distribute, or you get it sponsored, from your friends, relatives, and others. And it is not at all tough. 50 books are nothing. 50 books is very small actually, especially for yoga devotees. See, Suman Mataji, Mataji, and she is staying at home. She is taking 50 books. You are all youths. So at least 10 times you should take. And then Mataji will also multiply her score. Of course, there is no force. This is your own personal offering. You just desire it sincerely, Krishna will give it. Okay? So how many of you are ready? Haribol. The Haribol is very, loud Haribol. I think I'm not getting but messages. Okay, Yogesh Prabhu, Haribol, Yogesh Prabhu, 1,000 books. Haribol. See, yoga devotees का पूरा score अकेले ने ले लिया. Other devotees, Yogesh Prabhu, that will be your own individual score. See, you can write even one book also, no problem. Don't feel shy. Even to attempt one distribution of one book, you are attempting to do that. That itself is glorious. So even if you are feeling that I can distribute only one book also, no problem. There is nothing less or more. You write how much you can, help distribution of Śrīla Prabhupada books. So this is for yoga devotees. Other devotees, quickly write your own personal message. Quick. And then you can, proceed for prasad, breakfast prasad. Who? Kripa Karpu? Kripa Karpu, 30 books. Haribol. Amazing. See, Yogesh 2,000 books. Kripa Karpu, 30 books. Then next. So you can say your own. It is on your own personal offering to the Lord. Vijay Mataji, Haribol, one book. Ankit Prabhu and Vijay Mataji. One book every day, Mataji, or one book? Haribol, who is this glorious devotee? Badal Prabhu, 108 books. Haribol. Amazing. See, this is your personal attempt to distribute books. If you are not able to distribute, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will help you, Prabhupada will help you. Still you are not able to do, not a problem. But at least your attempt to do it itself is glorious. Okay. I've got some more things. Bhavan Prabhu, 51 books. Haribol. Abhay Govind Prabhu, 400 books. Haribol. I think I'm getting just 3,000 books. I have to increase the stock. Today, Krishna willing, our stock is coming of books. Other devotees, Ravi Prabhu, 4 books. Haribol. Vishnu Prabhu, 21 minimum. Haribol. Quick. Other devotees, who is missing? Ravi Raj Prabhu, Naveen Prabhu, Ravi Singh Prabhu. Shiva Prabhu, 50 books. Haribol. No problem. You can tell your scores. No problem. Quickly you can tell. No problem. Haribol, Karuna Gorang Prabhu, 50 books. Haribol. Yeah, I'm not saying that you have to, you are forced to do it. It is your personal offering to Śrīla Prabhupada. Whatever you can do, that is glorious. But you take a vow, take a resolution. Whole month you will keep thinking about it. Sorry? No, equivalent to Mahabig book. Like one, small book is equal to 8 small books is equivalent to one big book. Okay. And 4 medium books is equal to 1 big book. Like that. Okay. And 2 big books are equivalent to 1 Mahabig book. So Bhagavad Gita is counted in Mahabig book. So in that, I'm saying. No problem if you have taken, vow for distributing small books also. That is also glorious. Vinit Prabhu 11 books, Haribol. Chitish Prabhu 18 books, Haribol. The new devotees are taking such glorious targets. Aditya Prabhu 10 books, Haribol. Amazing. See, if you go out for distributing books on weekends itself, you will be able to distribute 4, 4, 5 Mahabig books. Very simple, very easily. Tomorrow is Saturday, we'll go for book distribution. Day after tomorrow again Sunday, we'll go for book distribution. You'll be able to do. Kamlesh Prabhu 75 Mahabig books, Haribol. Yes. Who is missing? Who did not give his target? We are going to this. You will distribute 51 books. Haribol. Who is missing? Whose name is not? Huh? Prananpur is at home. He's not there here. Others I will personally speak, but Mukund Prabhu, 2 books. Haribol. Mukund Prabhu, 2 books. Aditya Prabhu, 3 books. Haribol. See, if nobody is taking, what you can do, you can take and give to your friends or your relatives also. Not a problem. You can send them. Like last year, and every year actually you will get more and more friends. Every year you will get more and more devotees. Okay. Hare Krishna. Ankit Prabhu, your scores? Mataji is saying, okay, Ankit Prabhu left the meeting. No problem. See, for
Books,
all,
if not distribute at least.
I think he's speaking something. 1 minute.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please speak.
I will type.
Congregation devotees. Haribol. See, the Ankit Prabhu is in 10 books sponsoring for others. Thank you, Ankit Prabhu.